Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming in. Before we get going, I just want to check with you guys. Are you okay if I record this class? I mean, the video will just be what's on the screen. The audio will be whatever we say. And if you're okay with me recording it, I will put it on you. It'll allow me to put it on YouTube as soon as the class is done, so it makes the turnaround quicker. Is everyone okay with? If anyone's not okay with that, just let me know. Throw something at me. Whatever. Okay. Okay. So perfect. Thank you for letting me do that. Last class, I think we left off here. Is this more or less where everybody is? Yeah? Okay, good stuff. So, would we need, I think this is our last class, last studio class that we have before it's due. Is that correct? Okay, so the big things I think we should look at, I trust a lot of this, some of this stuff you will know how to do. So for instance, doing dimensions, I trust you guys know how to do that at this point. Notes, I think you'll be okay on. What I would like to do is touch on this notation, so the door tags, window tags, and lintel tags. Show you, I'm sure you'll be able to copy that and set it up, so that's not a big issue, but show you how that relates to the schedules, which we can then draw. There's not going to be any surprises there, but I just want you to be comfortable with it. I suppose we can go through a ruling or two, although that should be fairly straightforward. The other thing that seems like it might help to cover is the electrical. And then I think that's about it. We can touch on some of the layout of the kitchen and other things, but if we can cover those items, I think you guys I trust you guys have the skills to pull off the rest. We've already done those things. So let's get going. So first thing, we've got these schedules on the side here. And before we tackle a window schedule, let's go and label this window right here. So L10 and W114. So I would go in here. Yeah, and let's do the notation in here. We can do it on the page layout as well, but actually laying out the page might not be a bad idea, just so we know roughly how it looks. So this drawing, I believe it's at a scale of 1 to 100, 1 to 50. So you got a scale of 1 to 50. So I would take the viewport, select it, and then here I would say 1 to 50, and it should shrink it. And now I can double click inside, move it around a little bit. I think I'm going to go a little bit closer to the top right corner of the page. I need to leave some room for my tables, but I also need to leave room for this. This shouldn't be hard to draw, but it's just a rectangular patio at the back. So just eyeball. If it doesn't give you dimensions, feel free to eyeball it. There's nothing critical in there. It's just there, so you need to draw it. So I'm going to place this somewhere here, and that lets me know right away. I got to get this wall section out of the way. It's oops, really slow here. It's messing up the look of my drawing. So I'm going to say move and select all of this and just get it right out of the way. So our layout looks okay, good enough for now. You can fill in the info in the title block as well when you're ready to submit. And so now I would change layers to, do we have an annotation layer in here? Anno note, that might be it. So let's do that. And so the first note we want to make is L10 in a larger font and W114 in the same size font as our dimensions. So let's go to text and let's do W114 first. Okay, and that is almost microscopic, so no good. I'm going to move it a little closer so I can see here. Let me see. So one way I can figure this out is if I do my annotation. I go to annotate and I do a dimension. Let me see if that looks about right. No, that's pretty small too. Let me try if we have 1 to 50. I think these numbers here represent the scale. Do we have one that says 50? No, we don't. What is this one? 20? No, forget it. Okay, so we'll improvise. So I'll double click on the text, select it, and right now it's at 20. Let's try it at 75. How does that look? And so if I go to the drawing in here, it's this text, the W114, is slightly less than half the window. I mean, this is kind of a quick and messy way of figuring it out. It's slightly less than half the window. Mine needs to be a bit bigger. Let's try 125. That looks pretty good. Maybe it's even a little bit too big. Maybe we go with just 100. And we're taking a bit of time to set these up because afterwards we're just going to copy them. We're not going to spend a lot of time going from window to window. So the next one is L10, and it looks like it's almost double the size of text. So that's slightly less than double. So let's try, first let's put in the L10. L10, yes. And we will go 175. Okay, now I can grab a rectangle and finish the note for this guy and draw another rectangle around this one. And then I can position, oh no, the other one is a circle, not a rectangle. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think we've got about what we want. And so now we can start to copy it from window to window to window. So this is L10 W114. This one is L10 W113. So I'm just going to grab them, copy, and change it. This one is same thing, W112. So the L refers to lintel. That's the size of the structural member that the 2x4s or 2x6s across the top of the window that hold up the brick. So that's why that's always the same size, L10, or all of the same size openings. The W113 is the name of each individual window, so that's why it's changing by one as we go. Okay, now here we have a door, D108. So it's a similar symbol, similar text. So I'm just going to grab this circle, copy paste. D108. Now these lintels go down to L7, and this is W111 and W110. Okay, I'll do one more set of windows here, and then I'll leave it to you guys. I'll leave the rest of the windows to you guys. I think you get the idea. L7W109. Okay, so windows we understand how to label in the drawing. We've only done one door, so let's do a few doors here. We've done this door right here. So let's add a door. Well, this one has a few steps as well, so we may as well do this one. D107. Well, we don't even have that opening. So D107 is how big? 800. So I'm going to offset 100 to start the door, and 800 for the rough opening. Trim to clean it up. Okay, so the frame will be approximately 150 by 50. Now, if it comes up that your wall has a thickness to it, you can feel free to extend your door frame to take up the whole thing. It doesn't have to always be 150 by 50. So in real life, what you would do there is your door frame would be a certain size, and you would just add trim and other stuff to the sides to cover up any gaps. But really what the drawing wants to know is how big is this rough opening, and then what the door looks like which way it swings, what kind of door it is. And it doesn't, this drawing is not really concerned about the types of trim and how that'll be attached around the door. So you can just afford to leave out those details. And now it opens, it's a right swing door. So we go at 700, comma 50. Okay, we have a door. Now in this door, it looks like there is some steps down. So if you look at it here, it says metal threshold. Here, 150 millimeter high wood platform. So this garage is slightly lower, and so you take a step off of this, some kind of metal threshold here, and then you take a step down onto here and a step down onto here. And so this same step goes all the way around. It's a very strange design, but that's what we're doing. So in that case, you can kind of guess as to what those distances might be. So I'm going to say offset. If you're doing a platform, I don't know, let's say 400. What does that look like? Sure. And over here, it has to be bigger than the door, so I would say it's 1,000 on each side. So offset 1,000 from here. So fill it. And maybe another 100 offset over here, and a 200 offset there, something. You can kind of guess, because they don't give you dimensions. Okay, and this metal threshold step it talks about, we can just draw that in as well. We'll have to guess that too. Oh. Okay, so we've got our door. This is D107. So again, once we've got that tag developed, I wouldn't redo it. Just keep copying these tags. And try to overlap other lines as little as possible. If they have to overlap a little bit, it's okay though. So D107. So let's do one more door. In fact, this time we can just start copying the doors, I think. So this one is D107. This one is D109. So this would be a good chance for us to copy this. Let's measure the opening first. If it's 800, we're good to go. 800, perfect. So copy. I would copy all of it, including the tag, but I wouldn't copy it right into place because we have to rotate it first. So I'd copy it out here where I get a chance to rotate it. So here I would say the rotate button up here, and I would only, don't pick the text or the tag. I would pick only, or you can even pick the circle, but don't pick the text within it. And here I would rotate it 90 degrees, and I think that's the door we need. Yes, it is. So now I just move it in place. And I missed. Okay, one more try. There we go. So as you start to develop your tags and your doors and everything else, you can kind of start to copy, paste, rotate, and place them across the entire house. And it should get faster and faster as you go. So don't hesitate if you like. Don't be alarmed if it's taking you 10, 15, 20 minutes to set up your doors and your tags and everything else. That's fine, because once you have them ready, it's going to populate the rest of the drawing fairly quickly. So I'm going to leave doors as they are. I think you guys hopefully get the idea of how that's done. I'm going to do one room tag, or I'll do maybe 2 or 3, because again we can copy it once it's done. And then we will move on to the tables. So this is the garage, and it needs to be a relatively large text. So this text is about the same size or slightly larger than the lintel text. And the room number under it is the same size as the window label. So I guess we could just grab both of these and reuse them here. We're going to need to edit them a bit, but it's easier than making them from scratch. So I'm going to delete this. Delete this. This one gets relabeled to garage. I'm going to turn on caps lock so I don't have to constantly capitalize things. I believe this is room 112. Yep, 112. We can put a little box around it like they do in the example drawing. I'm on the wrong layer here. Okay, now they have a note under the garage, 56.4 meters squared, and in brackets concrete. So I'm just going to copy the text above, move it down. And so I'm going to type 56.4 meters. Oops, I guess they have, no, I would do a capital, that's fine. And meters squared, I think you can so if you highlight the 2 to get squared, you can do this thing called superscript or subscript up here. And we want superscript. So I'll click that and it makes it the little 2 for the squared symbol. Okay, and then underneath in brackets, so I'm just going to double click to get back into there. Concrete. And now I'd like to get it centered, so I'm just going to highlight the whole thing, and in here somewhere, there it is. This will center it for us, so I don't have to fight around, you know, mess around with the text on every instance. It just does it for me. And a little bit more. There we go. This is approximately in the middle, and so is this. Maybe we'll move it up a tiny bit. There we go. And that's it. So our room tag is done for the garage, and now we can simply copy it, and let's go to another place, foyer. So we'll drop it in here. What is the note here? Foyer, and it says hardwood. So in brackets, they're always listing the type of flooring material. Okay, so that one's done. So now we can move to the next one, storage. Okay, so that's how we do rooms, and I think now that we've done 3, I think you guys will be able to do more of them as well. And so I think we are ready to move on to, you know, just experimenting with how to do these schedules. So there is, long story short, there is a way called something called attributes to set up. It's almost like smart labels, and so when you plug them into your drawing, it'll automatically generate a table for you. We used to teach that, and we dedicated about 2 or 3 weeks to teaching students how to do that. But because you guys, this was back when we had 3 or 4 semesters of AutoCAD and Revit was still fairly new. But I believe you guys are moving to Revit immediately next semester, which is going to be far more useful for you. So I don't think we should go, it's a lost skill. People don't need this anymore. To know how to do attributes and generate tables automatically. So instead we're just going to go and type these out. It'll take a bit more work on this drawing than normal, but after this semester you will not be doing it this way anymore. You'll be doing it in Revit. Okay? So in case you're wondering why are we doing this in such a labor intensive way, just be aware it's not permanent. It's just the way it works out with the transition to Revit. So these tables, we have a choice. We can either do them in model space, or we can do them on the layout. And so I think it may make more sense to do it on the layout here, because we just have to be conscious of leaving enough room for the dimensions around it. So we have to hopefully leave enough room for that patio, or whatever that size of it is. We need room for dimensions, so that's going to happen in model space. But I think we just plug our 3 tables right in here. And the reason I'm saying that is because then we can just position them right against the corner. We know how they will land in the edge of the page. If you have them in model space, you're going to kind of check in paper space, see, oh, they're in the wrong position, go back to model space, adjust, come back to here, a little bit more to the right, go back to model space. So it's a more labor intensive way than if you just plane them right onto here, and then you position the rest of the drawing in relation to whatever that does. So, this one is window schedule. I wonder, is there a schedule maker that's fairly easy? Annotate. Scheduling, table, room schedule, space, room schedule. No. Okay, there may be some simple scheduling function in here where it makes a grid kind of layout for you, but I can't seem to find it. So I'm just going to move on and start writing this stuff. So let's just start with a piece of text. So we'll say type and then triple pane glass. Home. Type. Now this looks much too big. Yes, it is. So out here, in paper space, we probably want our text to be about 2 millimeters. Not 21752. Come on. That looks a bit small. No, it looks about right, actually. See, this text in the schedule is about the same text as your dimensions and the same size text as your window tags, the W114s. So with type, we are actually okay. And then we have a whole bunch of levels down here. So type number. So thank you. One student figured out how to do the table through a function. So I'll just finish up the example I'm doing without the function. It's close, so and then I'll use the other one with the table function. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. 14, 15. do it on the side, we just might do it all that way. Maybe a bit less narrow. But that's fine, we'll keep it there as anyway. Oh, no smaller. Okay. Same as everywhere else. I don't see too much. No, it's easier to use it. So actually, we will use this. So whatever that is. So that's how you can manually do one schedule. I'm going to try to demonstrate the other method as well. So in your main toolbar here under Home, if you go to where it says Annotate, there's a little icon of a table. If you go all the way to the bottom, it should give you a table option. Is that what you did? You used this menu? Okay. So yeah, this gets a little bit into that lesson I was talking about, but I guess it may give you a simple table. So our table, we need 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and I think 15 rows. Maybe, yeah, 15 rows, and it should not count the title. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 15. So 4 columns, 15 rows. Okay. Pretty big. So we can start. We can, let's say, go for the next schedule. We can say door schedule. And now we can start to make stuff smaller, I think. Nope, that didn't work. Properties. So this table, it does work, but you're going to have to play around with it a bit to be able to shrink it down, because in this size it won't fit onto your, it won't be small enough to fit onto your paper space layout. But there is a different way to still make use of this, which is that you go into model space and make it there. And you say OK, and you pop it in, you fill it up, you fill it in with all of the information it needs. And then once you're done, you can type in scale, and you pick the table and you can scale it up. So let's say I want to scale it by a factor of 25. I can make it much larger. Maybe that's too much. So now I'll scale it by 0.5. And so anyway, so you can play around with the size of it, and then you can have it in here as well. So both of those options should be fine. Okay, so we've done tables. Let's check our example here. So now that you've seen how to do a table, I trust you can do the other ones, door schedule and lintel schedule. I think the last major thing we would need to cover is the electrical and how to draw those symbols. So let's just start in a relatively simple room. How about the family room? So here we've got, let's start with the lights. So we've got 4 lights, hot lights, and they are connected. This is here just kind of showing as a diagram here. You want these lights to be at one circuit, controlled by one switch. That's the on-off switch. So by you doing this, you're telling the electricians, I want this switch to turn these lights on and off. That's it. I don't care how you accomplish it. That's your problem. Electricians, you figure it out. Because they do different things. So for instance, they will probably connect all of these outlets and that switch and these lights all on one circuit. So it's going to be one series of wires going through everything, the floors and walls and walls and ceiling and everything else. And it doesn't necessarily mean that when you turn this light switch on, all of it turns on and off. They have a way of wiring it that it doesn't. But they just need to know, okay, what the heck does the architect want? And so we tell them, these lights control that switch. Here's the plugs. That's it. You guys figure out the rest. Here I've got one switch and here's 2 lights. Done. And sometimes if you want like a switch, a circuit that can have 2 switches, you'll indicate a switch here and another switch here, and you'll just have another line connecting that, and that tells them, oh, this is a in your mind it's a 2-way switch, but actually in the industry it's called a 3-way switch. Well, that's why. 3-way switch means you can switch it on and off at 2 points. And it keeps going up like that. I like that you switch on and off at 3 points. It's called a 4-way switch. I guess it's because a single light has 2 ways, up or down, on or off. So anyway, we are drawing electrical. Let's zoom into here. I'm going to switch layers to see if we have an electrical layer. Doesn't look like it, so I'm going to stick to, I guess, annotation. Okay, so I'll stick to annotation. The pot lights, it's up to you how big you draw them. I mean, if you imagine a pot light, it's probably a circle about that big, so maybe 100 millimeter radius. Okay, and they seem to be offsetting it in a little bit, so offset by 25 inwards. Done. And so then they have some kind, they don't really give you the dimensions here, but it's a grid layout, probably centered within the room somehow. So what I would suggest doing is seeing where you would put those lights. So for instance, we can draw a line here. Okay, what's the distance down? So 3, 4, 7, 8. So let's say we do offset. We respect you a little bit. Offset 700 from each side. Let's just see what that looks like. That one, Nope, they're a little bit closer than that. Let's go another 200, so 900. And it's up to you, as long as it looks reasonable, it's fine. Extend that. And this looks like it's a little bit more, so let's say 1100. Okay, and then I would just move my pot lights onto that. Okay, now we need a switch in the corner here. So to do that, I would take a bit of text that we already have, maybe something like this lintel symbol. Bring it in and turn that into a $sign. That's the symbol for a switch. Okay, now we need some outlets. 1, 2, 3. So those, I would say, maybe have a 50 radius, something like that. And then they have 2 lines sticking out of them. So one is somewhere here on the middle of the wall, and then I can mirror it to the other wall. Actually, I should put drywall here first. I'm going to offset this by 16. Okay, so now the last thing I wanted to show you guys, we've got our electrical symbols set up in here. And so now I'm just going to take, first I'm just going to take a line, a polyline, and I'm going to draw kind of a squiggly line that goes through all of these different lights. So grab a line, I'm going to make it a polyline. Or you can draw directly with a spline. This may actually be more useful, a spline. And you start from the end of this symbol and just kind of start going. Try to hit the midpoint of these things. My computer seems to be freaking out here, so I'll finish the line and hopefully it shows us what we drew. Enter. So something like that. And the way I drew that is under line, I went to, not polyline, but I went to spline. And then basically it just draws a curve between whatever you're doing. Oops. So I'm going to delete that. Now this I can click on and I can change the properties of the line. Line type is going to go to dashed. And that's it. So I think now you have all of the tools you need to finish this drawing. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me. But I think now you've got the tools to draw this. You know how to insert the electrical symbols, text. You know how to do. I don't see anything else in here that's new. When it comes to stuff like this, like the bathroom, the toilet, things like that, don't feel you need to give it as much detail as it has. Like for instance, a sink could just be a rectangle, a circle, and put a line through it. Done. Toilet could be an oval with a rectangle behind it. Done. It doesn't have to be fancy. If you have extra time and you want to make it look nice, by all means go for it. But you don't have to. That's not essential. Same thing goes for these appliances. A stove could just be a rectangle with 4 circles. And then you give it a little. You put the other types of notation over top of these things. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'll upload the video of this right away. And then if you have questions, just call me over.